First Contact and Ultimatum. The night sky above the Pacific Defense Command was unusually clear. Captain Ilara Chen stared at the holographic display floating in front of her, monitoring Earth's orbital defense grid. At 34, she'd already earned a reputation as one of Earth United's most brilliant tactical officers. Her dark eyes reflected the blue glow of the screens as she sipped her synthetic coffee, grimacing at the taste. "Another exciting night in paradise," muttered Lieutenant Marcus Rivera, her second in command, as he scrolled through routine system reports. Earth in 2145 was different from the world of a century before. After decades of climate disasters, resource wars, and the great pandemic of 2089, humanity had finally united under a single government, Earth United. The old national borders remained as administrative regions, but the planet functioned as one entity, with colonies on Mars, Venus, and the moons of Jupiter. Humanity had spread throughout the solar system, but hadn't yet ventured beyond. "Captain, you need to see this." The voice came from Specialist Zhang Wei, their sensor operator. His normally calm voice carried an edge of panic. Ilara moved to his station. "What is it, Specialist?" "Multiple objects decelerating at the edge of the system. They're slowing from near light speed. Natural objects don't do that." Ilara's pulse quickened. "Show me." The holographic display shifted to show the outer reaches of the solar system. Dozens of objects, moving in perfect formation, were rapidly decelerating as they approached Neptune's orbit. "How many?" she asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline now coursing through her veins. 57 distinct signatures, Captain. Largest is approximately 3 kilometers in length." Ilara tapped her comm implant. "Get me Director Okafor. Now." Within hours, every defense platform and telescope in the solar system was tracking the incoming fleet. The unidentified vessels had stopped just beyond the orbit of Jupiter, forming a perfect spherical formation. In the Emergency Council chamber beneath Geneva, representatives from all Earth regions and colonies had gathered. The chamber buzzed with tension as Director Amara Okafor, head of Earth United Defense, addressed the assembly. "The vessels have been in position for 6 hours, Okafor stated, her tall frame commanding attention. "They've made no aggressive moves, but they're clearly artificial and clearly waiting." President Sophia Reyes, a former scientist from the South American region, with silver-streaked black hair, stood. "Have we attempted communication on all known frequencies and methods?" No response. The chamber erupted in debate. Some counselors argued for immediate military preparation. Others suggested sending a ship to make direct contact. The decision became irrelevant when every communication device on Earth simultaneously activated. Screens in homes, public spaces, implants, and military installations all displayed the same image. A humanoid figure with iridescent blue-gray skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and a mouth that seemed too wide for its narrow face. "People of Earth," the being spoke in flawless universal English. "I am High Commander Xorin of the Hegemony Diplomatic Corps. Our civilization spans 17 galaxies and encompasses over 10,000 sentient species. We have been observing your development for some time." The alien paused, its 4 eyes blinking in an unsettling pattern. "Your species has reached a critical developmental stage. The hegemony now extends an invitation for Earth to join our collective as a protectorate world. This is a great honor. You will receive technological assistance, cultural enrichment, and the protection of the hegemony fleet." President Reyes stood before the Council's communication array. "High Commander Xorin, we are honored by your contact. However, we need time to consider your proposal. What exactly does protectorate status entail?" The alien's expression remained unchanged. "Protectorate status requires minimal adjustments. Your world will provide resources based on hegemony quotas. Your most intelligent youth will be selected for service in hegemony institutions. Your military will be incorporated into our defensive networks. In exchange, you receive our protection and technology." "And if we decline?" Reyes asked. The alien's face showed the first hint of expression. a slight narrowing of its four eyes. No species has ever declined. It would be unwise. You have one planetary rotation to prepare your acceptance. Hegemony representatives will arrive at your primary government center to begin integration procedures. The transmission ended abruptly. In the silence that followed, Director Okafor was the first to speak. They're not asking. They're telling. The council erupted in chaos. Arguments flew across the chamber. Some advocated immediate surrender, pointing to the hegemony's obvious technological superiority. Others called for resistance at any cost. Dr. Sanjay Patel, chief of Earth's scientific directorate, requested permission to speak. The slight, bespectacled man rarely attended council meetings, preferring his laboratories on the moon. "We've been analyzing the hegemony transmission," he said, his voice quiet but clear. "Their ship's energy signatures are unlike anything we've seen before. They appear to use a form of quantum manipulation for propulsion, and we believe for their weapon systems." "How does this help us, Doctor?" Okafor asked impatiently. "Our quantum resonance project might be relevant. We've been developing technology that can disrupt certain quantum fields. It was meant for energy production, but theoretically," President Reyes leaned forward. "Theoretically, it might interfere with their systems, but we've never tested it against anything like their technology. It's a desperate long shot." The council chamber fell silent again, the weight of the decision hanging in the air. Earth had just learned it wasn't alone in the universe, and its first contact was an ultimatum. Captain Ilara Chen was summoned from her command post to join a small task force of military leaders, scientists, and government officials. They gathered in a secure bunker beneath the Himalayas, far from potential observation. "We need options," President Reyes stated simply. Dr. Patel explained his quantum resonance theory in more detail. "The hegemony ships generate unique quantum fields. Our technology might, be able to create a counter-resonance that would temporarily disable their systems." "How temporarily?" asked General Ahmed, commander of Earth's space forces. "Minutes at most, and we'd need to modify our satellite network to generate the field." "Could we weaponize it?" Ilara asked, thinking tactically. "If we can disable their ships, even temporarily, we could potentially board them." Dr. Patel looked uncomfortable. "Theoretically, yes. But this is all conjecture based on limited observation." The debate continued through the night. By morning, Earth had made its decision. They would not submit to becoming a protectorate that sounded suspiciously like a resource colony. Instead, they would modify Dr. Patel's quantum resonance technology, mount it on their defense platforms, and prepare for the worst. It was a gamble with the highest stakes imaginable, the freedom of humanity. At noon Geneva time, President Reyes addressed the hegemony. "High Commander Xorin, we have considered your offer with great care. Earth must respectfully decline protectorate status. We wish to establish diplomatic relations as equals, not subjects." The response came within minutes. High Commander Xorin's expression was now clearly displeased. "Your response is noted but irrelevant. Integration will proceed as scheduled. Resistance will only increase the difficulty of transition." Around the world, people watched with a mixture of fear and determination. For the first time in centuries, humanity was truly united against an external threat that considered their consent unnecessary. As the deadline approached, Dr. Patel's team worked frantically to modify Earth's orbital platforms. Ilara led a team of elite soldiers trained for space operations, preparing for a potential boarding action if the quantum resonance weapon worked. The hegemony's diplomatic shuttle, a sleek vessel about the size of an old Earth aircraft carrier, descended toward Geneva. Inside the council chamber, President Reyes and a small delegation waited, each wearing a small device that Dr. Patel assured them would protect them from the quantum field if it needed to be activated. As the shuttle landed in the designated area, Ilara and her team waited in orbit aboard their own vessels, poised to move against the main hegemony fleet if the opportunity arose. The moment of truth had arrived. Earth was about to make its stand. Humanity's stand. The Hegemony shuttle landed with impossible grace for a vessel its size. A delegation of 7 aliens emerged, led by High Commander Soren. Their blue-gray skin seemed to shimmer under Earth's sun as they approached the Council building. In orbit, Captain Ilara Chen watched the live feed while her team performed final checks on their equipment. Her boarding vessel, the Artemis, was small enough to avoid immediate detection, but armed with the latest Earth technology, now enhanced with Dr. Patel's quantum modifications. All teams report ready, Captain, Lieutenant Rivera informed her. Ilara nodded. Now we wait for the signal. In Geneva, President Reyes stood as the alien delegation entered. Welcome to Earth, High Commander. Soren's 4 eyes scanned the room. Your welcome is unnecessary. We will begin integration immediately. These data modules contain instructions for your government's dissolution and reformation under hegemony protocols. One of the aliens stepped forward, placing a crystalline device on the council table. It projected a hologram showing Earth divided into resource extraction zones. As you can see, Soren continued, we have already designated your planet's primary function within the hegemony. Your abundant water resources and biodiversity are your most valuable assets. The human population will be reduced to optimal levels for management. The room temperature seemed to drop. Reduced? President Reyes asked, her voice steady despite her shock. Your current population exceeds efficiency parameters. Approximately 60% will be relocated to labor colonies in neighboring systems. Soren stated this as casually as discussing the weather. The remainder will oversee resource extraction. Director Okafer's hand moved subtly to her communication implant. It was all the signal Dr. Patel needed. In his laboratory beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Patel activated the quantum resonance system. Orbital platforms around Earth simultaneously generated a specialized quantum field that expanded rapidly outward, engulfing the planet and reaching toward the waiting hegemony fleet. In the council chamber, the effect was immediate. The alien delegation froze, their bodies suddenly rigid. The holographic projections flickered and died. High Commander Soren's 4 eyes widened in apparent pain or shock. What have you done? The alien managed to say, its voice distorted. President Reyes stepped forward. We've declined your offer, Commander. Earth is not yours to take. In orbit, the effects on the hegemony fleet were even more dramatic. The massive ships, once perfectly positioned, began to drift. Their lights flickered and energy readings plummeted. It's working, Ilara exclaimed, watching the sensor readings. All hegemony ships show massive power fluctuations. Their shields are down. She keyed her communication system. All teams, execute boarding operations. We have a 5-minute window. The Artemis and 15 other Earth vessels accelerated toward the hegemony flagship, a massive vessel that dwarfed anything humans had built. Unlike the other hegemony ships, the flagship maintained minimal systems, likely due to backup power sources. They're adapting faster than expected, Rivera noted with concern. Ilara nodded grimly. Then we move faster. The Earth vessels docked with the hegemony flagship, attaching to its hull like remoras on a shark. Cutting tools designed based on Dr. Patel's quantum technology sliced through the alien hull, creating entry points. Ilara led her team through the breach, their specialized armor protecting them from both the vacuum of space and the disruptive quantum field. The interior of the hegemony vessel was disorienting. Corridors curved in non-Euclidean geometries, and the lighting pulsed with colors humans had no names for. Throughout the ship, hegemony crew members lay incapacitated or moved sluggishly, clearly affected by the quantum field. Those still conscious stared at the human boarders with their 4 eyes wide in what might have been disbelief. Remember, Ilara commanded her team, secure the command center and propulsion systems. No lethal force unless absolutely necessary. The team moved efficiently through the alien vessel, following schematics developed from external scans. They encountered minimal resistance. Most of the hegemony crew were either unconscious or too disoriented to fight effectively. In the ship's command center, they found High Sub-Commander Vekrat, Soren's second-in-command. Unlike the others, Vekrat seemed less affected by the quantum field, perhaps due to some personal protection device. "Your resistance is futile," the alien said, its voice stronger than Soren's had been. "The hegemony spans 17 galaxies. You cannot hope to stand against us." Ilara approached, her weapon lowered. "We don't need to stand against all of you, just the ships in our system. Your quantum technology is impressive, but it has a fundamental weakness our scientists identified. Your consciousness itself is quantum entangled, isn't it? That's why our field affects your biology, as well as your technology." The alien's reaction confirmed her theory. "Impossible. No primitive species could understand our quantum nature, much less counteract it." "Never underestimate humans when our freedom is at stake," Ilara replied. "Now you have a choice. Withdraw your forces and recognize Earth's sovereignty, or we'll be forced to permanently disable your vessels." On Earth, a similar conversation was happening. As the quantum field's effects began to wane, High Commander Soren regained some mobility. President Reyes explained the situation clearly. Earth now controlled the hegemony flagship and had the technology to disable their entire fleet. "You have two options," Reyes stated: peaceful withdrawal and diplomatic recognition, or escalation and the permanent loss of your fleet. For perhaps the first time in its existence, the hegemony faced a species that had not only rejected their rule, but had found an effective countermeasure to their technology. Soren's four eyes blinked in their unsettling pattern as it received updates from the crippled fleet. "This situation is unprecedented," the alien finally admitted. "How did you develop this technology?" Dr. Patel, who had joined the meeting via hologram, answered. "We've been studying quantum mechanics for over a century. Your arrival accelerated our research, but the foundations were already there. Humans are quite good at improvising under pressure." The standoff lasted hours. In orbit, Ilara's team maintained control of the hegemony flagship, while Earth's defense platforms kept the quantum field active at a lower intensity, enough to prevent the alien ships from powering up fully, but not enough to completely incapacitate their crews. Finally, High Commander Soren made an announcement that would change Earth's place in the galaxy forever. "The hegemony acknowledges Earth's unique status. We will withdraw our forces beyond your solar system's boundaries. A formal diplomatic exchange will be established." The alien's voice carried a note of something humans might interpret as grudging respect. "Your species has accomplished what no other has in 10,000 cycles." As the hegemony fleet retreated, towing their disabled flagship, humanity celebrated. For the first time, Earth had faced an interstellar power and held its ground. News spread throughout the colonies, from the domes of Mars to the floating cities of Venus and the mining stations of Jupiter's moons. 6 months later, Captain Ilara Chen found herself aboard a new vessel, the UES Defiance, Earth's first true interstellar ship, equipped with modified hegemony propulsion technology, acquired during the brief occupation of their flagship, and Earth's quantum resonance defense systems. It represented humanity's first step into the wider galaxy. Beside her stood Dr. Patel and a diplomatic team led by President Reyes herself. They were bound for Centauri Prime, a neutral trading hub where representatives from dozens of species gathered. The hegemony wasn't the only power out there, Reyes had explained during the mission briefing. And word of our resistance has spread. Several non-hegemony species have expressed interest in meeting the humans who said no to the most powerful force in the known universe. As the Defiance prepared for its first jump to faster-than-light travel, Ilara thought about everything that had happened. Humanity had nearly become just another subjugated world, another resource to be exploited. Instead, they had earned something far more valuable: respect. "Jump systems ready, Captain," Lieutenant Rivera announced from his station. Ilara nodded, looking at the assembled crew. The best Earth had to offer. now venturing to the stars not as conquerors or the conquered, but as equals. Take us out, Lieutenant. It's time humanity introduced itself to the galaxy. The Defiance disappeared in a flash of quantum-manipulated space, carrying with it humanity's message to the stars. Earth would not bow. Earth would not serve. Earth would stand as a free world among the stars, ready to extend friendship to those who offered the same, and resistance to any who threatened human freedom. The legend of how Earth banned the galactic hegemony from its skies would echo across countless worlds for centuries to come.